Imagine a quiet neighborhood, a few hundred people. They raise children, share food, help each other survive. Now, imagine this is every human left on Earth. No cities, no countries, no other tribes beyond the horizon. This is not a dystopian movie. This actually happened. There was a moment in our past when 99% of humanity vanished, and the entire future of our species rested on barely 1,280 individuals. So what almost erased us? When did this happen? And most importantly, could it happen again? The idea that humanity once hovered on the edge of extinction didn't come from myth or speculation. It came from science. In 1998, anthropologist Stanley Ambrose published a controversial paper proposing that ancient humans passed through a population bottleneck, a period when numbers dropped so low that survival itself was uncertain. Archaeologists noticed something strange. Around certain time periods, tools, campsites, and human remains almost disappear from the record, not because we failed to look, but because there were barely any humans left to leave traces behind. At first, Ambrose linked this collapse to the massive eruption of the Toba supervolcano roughly 74,000 years ago, an explosion so powerful it plunged Earth into a volcanic winter. But the evidence was incomplete. Climate models were imperfect. The puzzle pieces didn't fully align. For years, the idea remained controversial, until genetics changed everything. In 2023, researchers analyzed massive datasets of ancient and modern DNA. What they found was shocking. Despite our differences in appearance, language, and culture, humans today are genetically almost identical. In fact, chimpanzees living in the same forest have more genetic variation than all 8 billion humans combined. That could only mean one thing: every living human descends from a tiny group of survivors. But here's the twist. The true collapse didn't happen 74,000 years ago. It happened much earlier, around 930,000 years ago. Humanity experienced the most extreme population crash in its history. Scientists estimate a 98.7% decline, from hundreds of thousands to just 1,280 individuals worldwide. That's not a metaphor. That's fewer people than can fit into 2 modern apartment buildings. The entire human lineage compressed into a few fragile communities. One disease, one famine, one failed generation, and humanity would have ended forever. This bottleneck didn't last a decade. It didn't last a century. It lasted over 100,000 years. For that entire stretch of time, extinction was not just possible, it was likely. Researchers call this mysterious collapse the 0.9 million year event. The cause? Still debated, but most evidence points to a brutal shift in Earth's climate. Global temperatures dropped, rain patterns changed, ecosystems collapsed. Food sources vanished. Entire landscapes turned cold, dry, and hostile. Ancient humans were pushed into survival mode, eating whatever they could, sheltering wherever possible, adapting or dying. And many did die. Some human species never recovered. Homo antecessor, a mysterious species that once lived in Europe, vanished completely. They hunted, they used tools, they were intelligent, but intelligence wasn't enough. Only the most adaptable survived. Among them, Homo heidelbergensis. They were more social, more cooperative, more inventive. They may have been the first humans to build durable shelters, primitive huts reinforced with stone and wood. Some evidence even suggests controlled use of fire. Small advantages, but in a world collapsing, small advantages meant everything. Humans weren't the only ones affected. The 0.9 million year event coincided with massive extinctions across the planet. Saber-toothed predators disappeared, ancient wolves vanished, entire branches of marine life collapsed as oxygen levels in the oceans dropped. Nature was resetting the board, and humanity nearly didn't make the cut. For tens of thousands of years afterward, our ancestors remained vulnerable, one step from oblivion. It wasn't until 70,000 to 50,000 years ago that something finally changed. Humans crossed a threshold. Tools became more efficient, social bonds grew stronger, knowledge began passing reliably between generations. Then came art, ritual, symbolic thought. For the first time in hundreds of thousands of years, humans had the luxury to create, not just survive. Cave paintings appeared. Culture was born. The species that almost vanished had finally stabilized. Every human alive today exists because 1,280 people survived the worst moment in our history. We are not just descendants of survivors, we are descendants of a miracle. And the question scientists still ask is unsettling. If extinction almost happened once, could it happen again?